I like to say it. So, forgive me guys, hello everyone. As I said in the video, and it's kind of funny because you were just mentioning that you were saying that you hope that we branched out and so forth, then I went in the complete opposite direction. And I went back because, for a change, in case you can't tell, I love the goth culture and whatnot, even though I'm not one of the true ones myself. I have a lot of fun with it. I love the darkness that's associated with it. I love the romance that's associated with a lot of it. And I think that my piece will speak for itself, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. So, could we see the video?
You did a complete 180, as you told us you did, because you did go back and you mixed in some film footage along with simply showing your piece. And I think that was something that really helped it for me. I enjoyed the presentation. Obviously, you looked a lot into it. There was a lot of history there. Maybe you already knew, and definitely we could tell that this was something that you already knew about and you're kind of passionate about. The model itself, which I would consider just part of your complete presentation. I thought I would have enjoyed seeing it, skinned, seeing like the colors on it, but maybe it was just meant to be the sculpture, in which case I could see why that looked that way. But it did look well done, and I enjoyed the piece overall.
Thanks.
Okay. For me, there was a little bit of a disconnect. There was kind of the narrative part of it that I really enjoyed, and I was kind of anxious and excited to see where you were going to take it, and then it kind of went into the model portion of it, and between the narrative and the model, there just felt like a lot of disconnect for me. I liked the storyline behind it. I liked where you were starting to go with it. I just would have liked to have seen a little bit better of a transition. But as far as the artwork that you chose, and you had a different interpretation of glam diva than I would have interpreted, so I definitely appreciate your interpretation of it.
I agree with everything they said, and so rather than repeat that, just point out some additional feedback. That disconnect that she's referring to, I felt that, and I guess the problem for me is I can appreciate the fact that it takes a lot of work to build these models. It takes a lot of work to do the editing, and so it's sort of like it's impossible for you to bake this cake in the amount of time given. So we're kind of looking at ingredients. That said, overall I like it. I think you didn't make the scope too large, which has been a challenge for you in entering this competition, is figuring out how to scale back the scope of your project. I would challenge you moving forward, if we get to see you next week, to figure out how to take those basic ingredients and even collect them into something that's even more cohesive. Because the editing was really, really nice. I mean, again, I really see that you have an eye for that, and it would have been nice to see the actual 3D rendering incorporated even more. And it might not have so much to do with time, it's just finding the right tricky, creative way of doing that.
If I can add one more thing, that's an interesting point. It's almost as though if the 3D model that we saw at the end truly, struck us in a way that made us, if it was a plot point that turned everything around, as opposed to just one more thing in the continuum.